Hello my darlings and welcome back to Marion K Tarot. This is going to be your week ahead reading for the 6th until the 12th of October. We are in spooky season. We are right in the spooky season. So with that acknowledgement, this week look at my hair, it's all over the place. This week I am using my favourite deck, because it contains one of my favourite cards, and it is the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. Now, this is the second edition, I want to say. It's the one before the most recent one with the foil. This has not got foil on the cards, it's just got foil on the back. This was the original copy of that deck that I bought. I love it. I keep it in my special bag, my dedicated Baba Studios bag. This is a strength card for this deck. I have got it in a tarot bag. I've also got an actual handbag with that picture on it. I love that image. It's my all-time favourite strength card, and it ties for the first place with my all-time favourite tarot card image. So what have we got going on this week? Right, we have got such a big week this week. I know I say that practically every week, right? But we have, because we've got a full moon. And we have got a full moon in Aries, okay? And the reason I'm smiling is because my moon is in Aries. I am a fire moon. I love the fact that I have got my moon in Aries. It makes me happy. And it's funny because I've noticed that in particular, like moon Aries people and people with Venus in Aries as well, anybody else is like, oh no, that's a terrible placement. But actually, see, the people who inhabit that energy, we love it. We love the chaos. We just it reminds me just that fiery personality, that feminine energy, where no shits are given, basically. You know, I think that's like true. Like any fire placement for the more feminine energies of the planets, etc., like the moon and Venus, it feels more, you know, it's like a troublesome, quarrelsome woman. You know, it's like our feminine energy. It's like, how dare they have an opinion? Well, yes, we do, actually. So anyway, so we have got a full moon in Aries. It is the first full moon, the first lunation we have got post eclipses. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm just in for dinner, and I need a wee after dinner snooze. My apologies. But I think that, you know, that eclipse period, any eclipse period is rough, but I think that having the eclipses in the Pisces Virgo axis, it was really rough. You know, it's been a time of it, and we're all just a bit kind of a war weary, I would suggest. You know, it's like the battles that we're facing, the battles that we have faced. It's really difficult. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to hopefully get some good cards. Good cards. All the cards are good. You know, it's like the cards will tell us what we need to know. And we need to take this time, you know, like to centre ourselves, to look after ourselves, to practice self-care, and changing of the seasons. I'm sorry. Right, so let's see what have we got going forward for the week ahead. What energies have we got? Oh, right, okay. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Energy at the bottom of the deck. Of course it's the Tower. Do, do, do. It's good, right? And I'll tell you for why. Because the tarot, let me just get my wee bit of selenite that I like to have. The reason why I like the Tower being here. I like the Tower in general. I'm weird that way. I'm clearly a masochist. The full moon in Aries. Okay, so Aries is ruled by Mars. Okay, god of war. Currently, Mars is in Scorpio, its other domicile, which is the other planet, the other sign that traditionally Mars rules. Okay, and Hellenistic traditional astrology, Mars rules Scorpio. And if you know any Scorpios, that makes a lot of sense. Personally, I think. So it's really potent Martian energy that's going on. We have also got some opportunities this week to have some communication, to have serious communication, to let things go. You know, we've had the South Node conjoining with Venus and Virgo over the last few days, and it's shown up a lot of things where are we really taking into account our emotional worth. Right, this is where the feeling. This is what's been coming up with me when I've been doing meditations and when I've just been thinking. You know, when I've been in the shower having shower thoughts or sour thoughts that I was trying to say there. You know, it's about our self worth, and it's about the level of self worth we feel depending on the people that we're with, or depending on the people that we have in our lives. It may well be that, you know, over the last week or so, you have maybe stepped back for somebody and you're like, right, I'm just going to see how long it takes them to contact me. You know, it could be that there's been realizations of friendships, of relationships where you've come to the realization and the conclusion that you have been carrying it. You know, if it wasn't for you, because it takes effort on both sides for any kind of relationship, friendship, you know, whatever. And sometimes people have got more energy than the other person, and that's fine. You know, but when it's consistently the same person who is given like 90% effort and the other person's only given 10% effort, if that, you know, it's like, well, how is this helpful? And I've seen it a lot with people that I've been talking to, and they've been coming to that conclusion, you know, and that's very much overtures of Venus and Virgo conjunct to South Node, because the South Node is where we're coming from. You know, these are familiar things, and Venus is looking at our self-worth, our emotional worth, our actual worth. You know, it could be like our resources, the worth of our resources, whether that is our physical resources, our body, and it can be our actual bank account. You know, is there somebody who is draining you? So I think that this full moon is a really excellent opportunity for us to let things go. You know, if you've maybe been building up to a crescendo, if you like, you know, you've been like a quiet introductory. I'm not a musician, right? So please forgive me. But, you know, the kind of quiet building up, you know, it's like setting the scene, setting the emotions, etc. And then, you know, this week it's just kind of I came up to it, and it could be when we have the full moon, it's just like, right, that's me done, you know, and that's your tower moment, but it's a tower moment of your own choosing, and I think that's important to have that distinction this week. Okay, the cards that we have got on the table, we have got the Nine of Cups. We like to see that. Hello. We have got the Fire Queen herself. We have got the Queen of Wands. Okay, we love the Queen of Wands. And it's funny how I think she's like in a kind of show. It looks as if she's kind of at the theatre. So, you know, there's this performative aspect of the energy this week. And then finally we have got the Hanged Man. Okay, so what are we discussing this week? You know, we've got that Nine of Cups where it's coming to. Nines are like kind of the last gasp before a conclusion. So that at the beginning of the week. So the conclusion could be the fact that you've decided to let somebody go. Let a relationship go, let a friendship go. And that isn't a bad thing. You know, it's like I was reading an article during the week that said that every 7 years we shed 50% of our friendships, because we're always evolving. And that made total sense, and it's like when you think about your life, I encourage you to do this. Different people come into your life and they come for different reasons, and seasons, etc. Sometimes that season can last a lifetime, and there's other times where, well, no, it doesn't, because we evolve and we change, and that isn't a bad thing. That's healthy. It doesn't mean that we don't like that person anymore. It's just that we have maybe we have different interests, maybe we have a different approach to things. It's like they could move, if it's like a physical place, like they could maybe move to somewhere else so you're not able to see them, or it could be just they maybe do a new job or have other interests, or maybe get married or have like a committed relationship, and their life is different, and that isn't a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you despise the person, it just means that that person is not there, is present in your life, and if you're really lucky, like I am, I have got friends that I don't talk to for months on end, but I know that if I lifted the phone and I'm saying, hey, I need your help, they would be there. You know what I mean? And I think that we have all different levels of friendship, and how often we need to see people, how often we need to connect with people. So the Nine of Cups showing up this week is very much that. It's like, yeah, we've got the wishes coming true, but we've got things coming true, and a lot of gratitude for what we have got. But even though there's a lot of gratitude there, it's still a single person. It's like we go to the 10 to get that family unit, if you like, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't need to be a family, it can be a friendship group. Okay? So, leading into that, there might be some requirement this week. For me, the Queen of Wands is Aries energy. The Queen of Wands is showing up here, it could feel some of the stuff you see going on could be quite performative. I keep getting that word. And I don't think it's like the fire energy, but it feels like there's some times this week where, if you look at it, right, it's like this Queen of Wands, she is turning her back and kind of looking over her shoulder as if to say, and she could be talking to her cat and she'll be like, come on cat, we're out of here. There's like some kind of a performative aspect to the week, this week coming, and you're having to kind of just tolerate the crowd, is what's coming through to me. Tolerate the crowd and seek out the people that you can depend on. Okay, so that's quite specific. And also we've got the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man just asks us sometimes, just to take a break, just to look at things from a different point of view. And it may be we need to look at things from a different point of view because we get that Tower energy. It's, and it is very much this full moon here. So I think that was one of the other reasons that I wanted to use this deck, because the whole point of this deck is it's lit as if it's been lit in the moonlight. So there is a bit of kind of shadowy undercurrent to this deck, and things aren't always as they seem. Because I'm sure it's like if you see something in moonlight, it looks very different to what it looks like in sunlight. So especially that if there is something that you're called upon to look at this week and consider it from a different point of view, I would suggest you do that. But overall, we've got an interesting week ahead, but that full moon is a really good opportunity just to let it go. Let the rage go. Right, because a lot of us have all been walking about like big fireballs of rage and anger, and that's had an impact on our lives. Whilst I'm not saying let's start being like fluffy wee teddy bears with everybody in the world, because we always have to keep good boundaries. I would suggest that it's okay to just soften things a little bit. Okay, let the tower be gentle as much as possible. Let the tower come to clear the way. Okay, have it as a controlled explosion, right? It's controlled. It's like a demolition, no a toppling over. So that's the energies I see it this week coming. Have a wonderful week, my darlings. I hope that it goes swimmingly well for you. Do not be afraid of these things. Do not listen to dramatisation of planets, of transits. Okay, we are living in unprecedented times, but we've always lived in unprecedented times. Every week there's something new. So try your best to only consume what you're able to consume, shall we say, okay? Now, this week coming, I'm going to be at a UK Tarot Conference. So once I finish recording this, I will record the next week's so that it's ready for you. And I don't need to think about it. But I'm going to UK Tarot Conference. I'm very, very excited because it's one of my favourite things to do. And we are a deck update with regards to the Grief Journey Oracle. And I've just remembered, we're going to start pulling a wee card, aren't we? For here. I will have copies. So if anybody's watching that's going to the conference, right, I will have copies of the deck to purchase, available for purchase, with me. I can't take a huge amount because obviously I'm travelling by train. And it's just me. So if you're going, I have them. Very exciting news with the website. It is, or basically Terry, is designing the website as we speak. So that we can get the website up and running for people to purchase a deck if you missed out on the Kickstarter. It will be available hopefully by the end of October. That's what we're aiming for. And yeah, so that's the deck update. What we're going to do is we're going to pull a card for the week. We're going to pull a wee little card. What energies do we need to know? What do we need to work on? Right, okay, so what we need to work on is shelter. So these are these two wee clownfish, okay? And the reason for me calling this card shelter was because up above the surface of the water there's a storm raging, okay? And that can be an external storm. We are currently recovering from Storm Amy here in Scotland. My garden fence is no longer a garden fence, but never mind. So it's like we're getting some shelter from the storm above, okay, the storm that's happening. So this fits in nicely with the idea of the tower, you know, so it could be a tower thing above surface. But if you're content, if you're able to find shelter this week, and it doesn't necessarily need to be physical shelter, it can be emotional shelter. Who is it in your life when you think of, when I say to you, right, emotional shelter, who do you think of? So maybe reach out to that person and ask them, you know, say, hey, do you want to get a coffee? You know, and if you're needing help, don't just say, oh, hi, do you fancy it? Just say something like, I need you for a coffee. You know, I need you. Because you provide me with shelter. I need some shelter. You know, so that people distinguish the difference between just a, oh, hi, I'm going to be in such and such a place. Do you want to grab a coffee? As opposed to, have you got time for a coffee? Right, or tea, or whatever. Okay, so I think that's a really nice message for this week, and maybe because of clownfish, maybe find somebody that makes you laugh. I don't know. It's like, I think if you can find something to laugh at, we know that things are not always that bad. They're bad, yeah, they can be really bad, but if we've got something somewhere that we can have a wee giggle at, then life isn't as bad as we think it is. Okay, my loves, that is me this time. I am going to go, as I say, drink the rest of my tea, then I'm going to go into the next reading for the following week. Okay, have a good week, my darlings. I will see you soon. Bye bye.